So I am outside walking this precious girl, one of the dogs, and so Georgia and I are walking, and I noticed, well, maybe not because Georgia's gonna eat it, but that there's lettuce. You're standing over it, what are you doing? Growing in the front yard where it was previously planted underneath the apple tree, and it must have seeded because it's also right here in another spot, and then over here by the apple tree there is even more of it growing, which is just crazy. Now, these are some of my absolute favorite lettuce. They are the Cimarron, and they are amazing. I have a lot of seeds, but I haven't started planting it yet. And I've been so focused on, sorry sister, you're tangled up in your leash. She has stepped on her leash somehow and got her foot in it. And so over here in the front yard, it's just kind of volunteered, even though I've been worried about planting anything because I have yet to get the beds cleaned out. It's one of those weekend jobs since we work out of town. My husband works out of town during the week, and I'm not currently going to school, so I have more time on the weekends. It's not just hurry up and get things done for school, which is really nice being on winter break. But I think the lesson here is that a lot of times we underestimate the power of the will of plants to grow and want to get the beds nice and cleared out, but these lettuce are just volunteering all on their own. And we probably didn't notice because during the summer and warmer months we mow up here a lot, but now most of the grass is dying or not growing because it's dormant, and there are 3 lettuce plants growing and volunteering all up here, and there's so much more than that throughout the yard. So over here in the garden, you can see where this is actually where the lettuce was growing. There is a huge baby lettuce plant growing that's volunteered here too. And that's really awesome. I'm actually, now that I see them growing randomly, I'm surprised not to see more over here because this lettuce had lots of time to seed, and you can see all the weeds are growing up in this area. Come on, sister, you keep stepping over your leash. Come on. Oops, I dropped it, of course. Stepped on it just in time. Keep her from running off. This area is not really growing anything. It's just the empty void space near the garden you can see. So that's what she's walking around in, just kind of hanging out. She's very curious. She's a basset hound, and so she loves sniffing around. This is my little sister and my mom's dog. So this is Georgia. She's super pretty, really small compared to the other hounds. Come here, girl. Come on. She has a mind of her own too. Come on. Goofy. So over here, speaking of volunteers, we have all the cilantro that I transplanted before I left, and it looks really rough. I thought with the rain it would... Will you get out of the garden beds, girl? Thank you. I thought with all the rain that I'd come by it would be fine, it would pop back up, but I didn't think about how damaged it was. So what I'm gonna do is just come in here and pinch all of this off, and that way it can just regrow leaves that I didn't bend when transplanting. And you can kind of see in this area it's doing a lot better. That one's not. And then here's this one, same thing. I'm just going to pinch all the way down. And if you have scissors or something on hand, it'll probably be a better idea, but I'm not doing that. I'm literally just pinching it off. Do you like this cilantro? I think Georgie wants to eat it. And it doesn't matter because all of this is going to go to the chickens anyways because it's kind of brown and rough from laying down. Girl, you're like the queen of stepping over your lead. Usually we have harnesses on them. But this little girl is expecting babies. See, her tummy. So she can't have... We really don't want to harness over her. And that's why she doesn't have one on right now. 90% of the time, if you see us walking the dogs, they'll have a harness on. It just gives more control, plus basset hounds are a squattier breed. Come here, baby. Come on. And then the last one, I'm just gonna pinch it off just like the others. Although this one, the leaves look a lot healthier, doesn't it? Yeah, and so all of these leaves, well, cilantro, we grow it to eat it, but because it's been on the soil for a week and it really got pounded down during the rain, and then it just kind of yucky. Some of it has, kind of like when you leave lettuce in the fridge too long, it starts to turn brown. That's basically what's happening is some of the cilantro. So now if you look at it, you can see it sticking up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the exact same cilantro that I videoed in my transplanting cilantro video. So these are the 5 ones, and I guess I should have cut them down when I transplanted them, but now they look a lot better. However, the other transplants that we have are over here in this bed where the okra was and the squash during the summer. And the squash and okra, the okra failed miserably, but the squash did really well. And let me kind of stand to the side because of the shadow. This is the giant red mustard that we found in the blackberry bed that we transplanted. And here's the other one. And here is the 3rd one. Let's see if I can get a better shot. So they're all actually doing really well. They're producing new leaves. So this is a new leaf here. This is a couple of new leaves here. These are actually could be picked off and harvested and eaten. But these giant mustard, their leaves get massive. So I can let them grow for another 18 inches without them getting too bitter. And I love using them for wraps, but mustard does have a really strong flavor. And so if you're not used to that, it might be a little bit of a shock to use it as a wrap or something. I would suggest sauteing it down. And then here's the basil holding on for dear life, even though it is really cold. Last night it was 34 degrees at 4:30 this morning. It was reading 32 not too long before that, but I'm not sure if it was because the wind was blowing or not. But either way, it is absolutely chilly in here. The things that are growing the best seem to be the onions, and then lettuces did not have any damage. These brassicas, and strangely enough, the marjoram did really well through the cold weather. I see a lot of people talking about our zone, and because it is technically considered subtropics, we're in 9A, 9B area south of Houston, but it is really cold. Girl, you should not be in that bed. It is really cold, and so you really do need to take precautions to cover up your plants and all of that. You can't just kind of grow squash and everything warm without some kind of coverage or protection at all. And in fact, I don't even try. I try to grow things that grow well during the colder months. And for me, that doesn't necessarily mean cabbages, because those don't grow well. But your mustard plants, your lettuce, which lettuce also will need some protection when it gets too far below freezing. Collard greens, turnips. Turnips are amazing. They're my #1 plant to grow. And now marjoram, because I had no idea that marjoram grows well during cold weather. And then there's one more plant that I wanted to show off. Well, 2 more actually. One of them is carrots, and the other is the volunteer cilantro in the berry bag. So I'm going to go show that real quick. So over here, it doesn't look like much, but when you get closer, you can actually tell these are a ton of baby carrots. The seed package was ripped open, it fell, and the dogs got a hold of it, and so I went ahead and just threw them in. Now in areas like this, they really cluster together, but I'm waiting till they become taller to pull them out, because the greens can actually be eaten. They will not produce a substantial root this close together, but they will produce a lot of greens, and we eat those, so that's perfectly fine. If I get close enough, you'll have to excuse the shadow. You can see there are a ton of carrots growing all over. That's what most of this little green is carrots just sprouting up everywhere. So that's really exciting. They grow really well. And surprisingly, this fennel's doing amazing. This is the fennel I've been growing for several years. It started off as just 3 Florence fennel plants that I bought, organic plant starts. And look at them. They have taken over everything. They taste like licorice, and they actually do produce bulbs still if you bury them, which I have not. But look at that. This is just one bulb. And so here's several right in here that can be eaten. The seeds can also be harvested. And the ferns can be used for tea. The bulbs can be chopped up and boiled if you don't like the licorice flavor. They can be sauteed. Boiling for if you don't like licorice flavor because it boils out the flavor. They can be sauteed, but it really is amazing what 3 little plants can do. Before I started growing Florence fennel, I saw everything that A, things don't grow around it, which is false, and B, that it is a one-time harvest plant for the bulb. That's actually false. It will spread and produce multiple bulbs, which is really cool, and it smells amazing. It just smells like licorice, like a pack of Good and Plenty's, the really sweet licorice when you're touching it. So this is amazing for tea if you dry it or infuse it even. It is so good. This is one of my favorite things to grow in the garden, and just come out and pick off a piece and chew it while I'm walking around because it's a nice sweet flavor. I forgot all about this, and you can see there's actually some weeds kind of growing up around it because it's sheltered from all the cold. But this goji berry, even with the temperatures reaching freezing, it is still producing berries. And look at that. These fruit I think are best for freeze drying because I tried dehydrating them and they get really hard and they're not so great because they're such a small berry. But I think freeze drying would actually be the best option for them, but we do not have a freeze dryer, or even screen drying them would be a good option. Not using an electric dryer, or the oven definitely doesn't work well for me. So this is one of them. When it's ripe, you can see it kind of expands and gets really big, versus some of the other ones that are lighter in color and they're not very big yet. They're smaller. This one expands, and then when you squeeze it, it has all of these seeds, and the seeds are actually what's better. The berries are sweet at first, and then you bite into them and get all those seeds in your mouth, and they get really bitter, which is why a lot of people don't like goji berries. They don't store well, so pretty much once you pick these, they all need to be eaten. And they don't dehydrate well in an oven or dehydrator, in my opinion. But they do swell up for really good size. So these are really good if you plan on eating them fresh or throwing them in smoothies.
Hi.
Hi. This area back here had a ton of water in it last time I was here because it did rain, and look, now it's perfectly dry. It's probably the driest winter we've ever had as far as the ground is considered. We've had quite a bit of rain. One night we got almost 1.5 inches overnight. That was last week. But because the ground was so dry, it's just soaking up everything that it can. And back here is where we had all this volunteer cilantro, and it's actually looking really good. So it's kind of sticky. Tastes pretty good. With it being sticky like this, I'm going to venture to say that it's probably about to go to seed. But I'm going to pick it. So there's a handful just off of one plant. And keep in mind, this all volunteered from where I fed the ducks and geese last year. And we got rid of most of the ducks and geese during the summer. So that tells you how long ago it's been since the seeds fell, and I guess they just waited for the perfect environment and just popped right up. And it's amazing because we try so hard to keep everything clean and sow seeds properly, pick all the weeds, and we really struggle, but then the seeds just happen to drop and land in the right environment. When the right season comes around, they just kind of pop up on their own, and it's exciting to have all of these seeds pop up, but sometimes it gets frustrating because we put so much time and effort into growing plants. And look at this, it just volunteers and grows on its own just by me throwing it over the fence. You want to hold that, sister? Oh, something's falling out of my hand.
I put it in the other hand.
Yeah, we could probably actually just chop that up and eat it fresh, because our sister is not here today. So our teenage sister Journey actually thinks that cilantro tastes like soap, and she does not like the taste at all and will not eat it.
I put it in my pocket.
Perfect.
So it won't fall.
Yeah.
And that's why I wear this hoodie all the time, so I can hold the plants
I
without
wouldn't.
holding them in my hand.
Are your feet not cold?
No.
I'm wearing my boots. My feet are actually warm because I have socks and shoes on, but my feet would be freezing in the wet ground. I guess, of course, the morning dew's probably dried off now. Oh, my chest is sore. I don't know why.
Put those in my pocket. Now my outfit's covered. Now my hoodie has plants.
And it smells like cilantro, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually amazed at how much there is growing. So on the volunteer plants, I went ahead and pinched all the leaves off pretty much down to the bottoms. So we'll see if that does any better for them. They'll grow better.
Have you told them what we did last night?
What did we do last night?
About the acorns.
Oh gosh, so we harvested all of those acorns with the intent of processing them, and then my husband got called in, so we had to rush back up to Bryan College Station area. And when we did, we left the acorns in bags on the counter, and they all sprouted because white oak acorns, they just, as soon as they hit the ground, they start sprouting into trees. And so they all sprouted in the bag. So the kids kind of sprinkled some along the tree line so that they can grow, and the rest they gave to the chickens, but they accidentally dropped the bag in, so we do have to get that plastic bag. I forgot about that.
That would be bad.
It was really cold last night. It dropped down into the 30s, and yeah, and they weren't wearing shoes because they're crazy. And so it was a little wild. But yeah, it turns out you really do need to process acorns pretty quickly because they will just, they're not like red oak that take a little longer to sprout. So this is a whole lot, actually quite a bit of cilantro that we're picking over here. Oh yeah. Want to tell them what you did last night? Or was it night before last? Night before last. We lost a tooth here. Our grown-up teeth are coming in, right?
Right? Yep.
You what? What were you going to say?
Well, last, I don't know when.
I think it was night before last.
Yeah, night before last. My tooth was hurting, so I pulled it out. I hit my tooth on the bed when I tried to look down at Charlie's game, and so that's how it happened.
It knocked loose, right?
Yep. And then I pulled it out. And I'm happy since $10.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yep. By the other house too. That's not the cabin.
Yeah, there are plants growing everywhere. Well, there are volunteer plants all over the yard. Mm-hmm. I even found cilantro in the front yard randomly, but I think we mowed it down. Okay, so all of this right here, the big plan is why we have some time this weekend, because it is a 4-day week or 3-day weekend, mm-hmm. because Monday is New Year's, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a big holiday.
Yes, Sunday is New Year's Eve.
So what we're gonna do, because we don't really celebrate go out or anything crazy.
Yeah, what we're probably gonna do this year is just watch fireworks for Journey.
Oh yeah, for Journey's birthday, she likes to watch fireworks. Yeah. But you can see the fireworks from the city from here. Pretty cool. Okay, so
me and Journey and Jack used to walk down to the park when we were in the Pinehurst, in the Morning Dove house.
Uh-huh.
And we used to walk down to the park and watch the fireworks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because there's little benches at the park, and we would sit down at the bench for like a little bit and watch the fireworks.
That's really awesome.
And then when it got it stopped at 12. So when it got to 12, we came back home.
Oh, nice.
But there was a curfew there. It was 10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we would walk back and run home.
And they make a little exception on holidays.
And Jack and Journey would leave me at the park by myself.
Siblings can be booger heads.
they would run faster than me, and I would tell them to wait a second.
Because you have little legs, but now you're almost as tall as they are. Well, they're really tall, but you're going to grow too because you're hitting your growth spurt.
The chickens were watching us through the little fins.
I know, they want to be out and in here so they can eat all the greens.
But they can milk it out.
I know, there's no fence over here. You know what, I have an idea. Why don't we pull all this out and we can give it to the chickens?
Yeah, we can throw some of
Yeah, I wonder if they'll eat it. Let's try it. So what I was going to say is, since we don't really celebrate New Year's, these are sticker burrs. Luckily the stickers are still green, but look at this. They're all over it. Yucky. Sticker burrs are the bane of my existence right now because I guess they got stuck to someone's socks, and then I did laundry and the socks were stuck in my sheets and I didn't know it, and then now there's stickers all in my bed and sheets, and it's terrible. Okay, can you throw it over?
Yeah.
Alright, ready, set, go. Let's see. I'm gonna see what they do.
Going.
No, she doesn't.
They like it.
Ah, they're eating it. That's amazing.
All of them are going to it. Hungry. They love it. Hungry chickens. I want to pick some. I see a
They've been eating a lot of acorns and pumpkins still.
This plant, sister.
What, baby?
This plant back here.
It's a milk thistle.
What's a milk sizzle? Can we pick it?
Yeah, you can. Well, actually, this almost looks like a dandelion. But dandelions are also thistles. You just reach at the very bottom of it. And I could have identified this wrong. But anyways.
Oh.
That's fine. You can throw it over. They may or may not eat it because the leaves, when it starts producing sap, is really bitter.
Let's see if they like this. They are not better.
Oh, look, there's the bag of acorns right there. You get bit by ants? I don't know if you can. There's the bag. We have to go get that.
It was right up the leaf.
Oh, yeah, ants. Oh, that could have been an ant, or it could be, these are, oh my gosh, goji berry plants. And they're the old roots of goji berries, and that's why they may have thorns on them. This plant right here, the woody one. And actually, these are goji berries growing all on this fence, believe it or not. So.
I nearly slipped on my face.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I slipped since this. Are they going to that other plant? Oh, that one is. It's slippery mud, Jersey. That chicken is going.
Yes.
But they like that plant more.
If y'all see some weird netting, this right here is actually the chicken wire for part of the fencing. So I'm actually just videoing through it.
Jersey, look what I made. I once made.
They really like those. So the new plan is to pull out all these weeds and throw them over for the chickens. And then in their place this weekend, all this right here will be replaced with turnip seeds. So that is what we're going to do, that because turnips will basically grow themselves while we're out of town and working. And the only ones really here, because currently my mom can't come out to the garden, is so uneven. She has difficulty walking through it. She had a serious injury to her leg, and last year she was hospitalized. It was a really scary time.
I thought you just said that you and Charlie. Yeah,
I think Charlie's like a half an inch or an inch taller than you, but he's really.
Yeah, he's taller.
But you're also 2 years younger than him, so you're gonna catch. Well, not quite 2 years, but you'll catch up. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I'm at Charlie's mark.
Yes, you are.
Making a slip and slide without feet in the mud. Do you know his mark now? Yeah.
We have a board for measuring all of the kids in the family, and they're so excited when they reach someone else's previous height. So it's a lot of fun to watch. It's something exciting, so we can keep track of their growth, and it's really fun for them. If you have kids, you know they love to ask you, how tall am I, all the time, or compare their height to you, just the mark of how fast they're growing. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Look.
You can see they still have a bunch of pumpkins that they're breaking down over where the compost was. We actually made a video, which never got edited or posted yet, of us breaking down this compost. And so that's, or breaking down the fence that was keeping them out of the compost. this little orange chicken is actually trying to figure out how to get underneath the fence. She does that quite often, tries to get out. Sneaky little thing.
Yours aren't that dirty. Because I'm going like this. So it's getting
I'm getting mesmerized by the chickens and forgetting to video anything. So, yeah, what we're going to do is definitely finish pulling all of this out right here and then sprinkle out that turnip fodder before we leave. Up here, it's really elevated. All of this is significantly higher than the rest of it. You can see here, it's, let's see where my foot is. It's a good several inches from if I lift my foot like this. Here's the bottom, here's the top. So it's several inches all the way around. And I would say 4 to 6 in some areas. And so the water stops right here. And basically when this filled up with water and the ducks and geese were swimming around, they kind of dredged out all of this. And this is where they like to lay when they got out of the water. So it's definitely built up, kind of naturally eroded part of it away. And this is going to be an excellent area, so we don't have to worry about the turnip seeds washing out, or if there's a lot of water that comes in, it'll be out here where it's super muddy and where the kids are now getting super muddy. Crazies. Y'all are spraying off with a water hose before y'all come in, though.
Not my feet. We will.
Yuck. Looks like y'all stepped in cow poop.
Why is it so slippery? Poopies. Your toes can get all dirty though.
Kids.
Get your toes dirty. Oh, do my kids. Yeah.
And then here it's all of this. So, yeah, that'll be really exciting. Get some turnips in. Turnips grow really well. They're really tiny seeds. And you can just kind of spread them all kinds of crazy. You can put them in lines, but I really don't. We just kind of spray them out, spread them everywhere, and then we'll start picking them as they get bigger. Sometimes we'll grow for root. Sometimes we'll grow for greens. You can eat the entire turnip,
Oh, you're gonna do it?
the entire root, and all of the greens. So that's what we do. Once they get really big, they're kind of bitter. And I'll go show you a turnip really fast. Here's actually a turnip that volunteered from last year. So you can see it has all of these greens, even competing with the grass. It has all of these greens. And then at the very bottom, it's starting to produce a little purple root. And this root will swell several inches and you can eat that. But all these greens, I could pinch them off right now and they'll grow back. And also I can pull out the entire green and eat even the small immature root or the big one. So this is the type of turnip that I'm going to be planting. I got a giant bag of it from Johnny Seeds and I just love it so much. It's just so easy. You can get it as fodder and it works out really well. So I guess I'm gonna get off of here and kind of tend to all of this garden, get the kids cleaned up from the mud that looks like cow shit, as Sam said. And yeah, look how much of this garden there is to tend to. One thing I definitely want to do is transplant some of the lettuce. So I'm going to get a lot of this grass cleared out over here. That was the previous lettuce bed. And try to, if I get a chance, video me pulling that lettuce out and transplanting it over here in this bed that was previously for lettuce. But that means I'm going to pull these poles out too. So that should be a fun, busy experience. So I'm going to go get started with that, help the little kids, get my youngest child situated, and we'll see what happens over this holiday weekend.